Holy shit, was that not the most epic fucking intro ever? I feel like I'm about to watch a Michael Bay movie now. Okay, so I was on the YouTube looking at cat videos and shit, and I stumbled across this little gem. Spoiler alert, it's more sovereign citizen bullshit, but it's very devious in how it's made. It starts off feeling like a 90s TV news report, in order to lend credulity to the content. And it doesn't just slap you in the face with sovereign citizen beliefs, it starts off slow, and then it eases into the idiocy. So not to lose the viewer. It's insidious. Okay, so I'll just shut up and start this clip.
A sobering study of the signed treaties and charters between Britain and the United States exposes a shocking truth.
Lol, what? See what I mean? Sobering study? Let's be real for a minute. We all know there was no study. There's no sobering truth exposed. Even in their attempts to keep it vague in the beginning, they can't help but use these conspiracy keywords like study, sobering, and truth.
The United States has always been, and still is, a British Crown colony.
What? Holy shit. Surely one of the hundreds of thousands of political figures, lawyers, and government officials would have caught this little mix-up by now, right? Right? Idiot.
King James I was famous not for just changing the Bible into the King James Version, but for signing the first Charter of Virginia in 1606. That charter granted America's British forefathers a license to settle and colonize America.
Yeah, he also signed the second and third as well. What's the point?
The charter also guaranteed that future kings and queens of England would have sovereign authority over all the citizens and colonized land in America stolen from the Indians.
Not exactly, but close enough though, right?
After America declared its independence from Great Britain, the Treaty of 1783 was signed. That treaty specifically identifies the King of England as the Prince of the United States and contradicts the belief that America won the War of Independence.
No, it doesn't. Idiot. The Treaty of 1783, or the Treaty of Paris, was signed by the representatives of King George III for Britain and the representatives of the United States of America on September 3, 1783. It ended the American Revolutionary War. Britain acknowledged the United States to be sovereign and independent. The treaty set boundaries between the British Empire and the new country. Details included fishing rights and restoration of property and prisoners of war. Only one article of this treaty, which is the legal underpinning of the United States' existence as a sovereign country, remains in force today.
Although King George III of England gave up most of his claims over his American colonies, he kept his right to continue receiving payment for his business venture of colonizing America.
No, he didn't. He really didn't. Where do you fuckers dig this shit up from?
If America had really won the War of Independence, they would never have agreed to pay debts and reparations to the King of England.
Well, we didn't. At least not as far as I can find. I don't recall ever hearing about this in history class. I did a quick search. I found literally nothing about this. There is no official record of the US paying debts and reparations to the king, at least not that I can find. There are about a dozen or so sovereign citizen websites that make this claim, but nothing official. And even if we had decided to pay the king for damages done, how in the hell does that make us not an independent nation? We paid debt and reparations for other countries. Germany paid debts and reparations for World War II. That doesn't make them not a sovereign nation.
When Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the U.S. President was made subservient to the King of England.
Okay, here we go. So, for those that don't know, the sovereign citizen movement has been attacking the 13th Amendment and various other slavery-related amendments since before there was an internet to bitch about it on. The origins of the movement were white men. It was basically race role in America. They felt, or at least they claimed like they believed, that the 13th Amendment didn't actually elevate slaves to a freeman status, but in fact lowered the whites to a slave status, or some such nonsense. At any rate, the sovereign citizen movement has been making absurd claims and trying to undermine all of the amendments that have anything to do with slavery. You can read all about the Constitution at www.loc.gov. At any rate, this is where the sovereign citizen shit starts to get thick.
The 13th Amendment is called the Title of Nobility Amendment and forbids U.S. presidents and their officials from using royal titles like king or prince or baron.
Again, you're wrong. The Titles of Nobility Amendment was never ratified. Therefore, it's not an amendment. It was proposed twice, in 1812 and 1816. It never got enough votes to be ratified. It would strip United States citizenship from any citizen who accepted a title of nobility from a foreign country.
For some mysterious reason, the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1810, no longer appears on current copies of the Constitution.
Yeah, it actually does. And it's readily accessible on the internet for any sovereign idiot out there who wants to go read it. What doesn't exist on the Constitution is the Titles of Nobility bit, which was never actually a part of it to begin with. It was never ratified. This is the kind of insidious misinformation that you can come to expect from sovereign citizen idiots.
America's blood-soaked War of Independence against the British bankrupted America and turned its citizens into permanent debt slaves of the king.
Oh, Jesus tap dancing Christ. Now we're onto the debt slave bullshit. Well, first of all, it didn't bankrupt America, and secondly, this video has yet to provide a single shred of any actual evidence for these claims that they make. It's just lame sovereign citizen conspiracy prattle.
1 century later, a corrupt U.S. Congress committed the biggest theft in world history. They passed Paul Warburg's Federal Reserve Act in 1913, handing over America's gold and silver reserves and total control of America's economy to the Rothschild banksters.
Okay, I have no desire to talk about the Rothschild, Federal Reserve, or banking in general. That's all standard issue conspiracy theory shit. Any conspiracy theory is going to touch on the Rothschild because it's a hot topic. It's the Federal Reserve, all that shit. It lends well to their stupid fucking theories, and they love to talk about it. I don't really know why.
Most U.S. citizens believe that the United States is a country and that the president is the most powerful man on earth.
Well, yeah. I mean, most do believe that the U.S. is a country. I expect a lot believe that. I don't think anyone with any idea of how the political system here works would think that the president's the most powerful man on earth. But what's the point of this?
The United States is not a country. It is a corporation. And the president is president of the corporation of the United States.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. And now it's the corporation bullshit. Well, at least the idiot waited till the end of the video to start the corporation bullshit. If she had started with that, she would have lost 90% of her viewers before she got in 30 seconds.
Since the United States is a corporation, who owns the corporation of the United States? Like Canada and Australia, whose leaders are prime ministers of the Queen, and whose land is called Crown Land, the United States is just another crown colony.
And then she closes it off by comparing us to Canada and Australia. Well, first of all, those two countries are not colonies of the king. They are independent nations. The sovereign citizen movement likes to use a lack of knowledge on behalf of the viewer to sell a product. The product is typically legal packages that they claim you can use to separate yourself from your straw man, which is ultimately more nonsense. Anyhow, I just stumbled across this ridiculous video and I thought I would comment a little on its idiocy and share it with you guys. Also, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. We now have a little derplet crying all the time and being a general annoyance. Soon enough, we'll be moving. Should have a dedicated room for the video stuff at some point, which means I won't have to be quiet or I can't record due to noise. In theory, it should be leaps and bounds better, and we should be able to get back to a regular video upload schedule, maybe a month or two from now. We'll see. Anyhow, thanks for watching this video and this